Hey guys, it's Mrs. Saucetta. This is showing you how to complete the lesson for September 8th. And if you missed class on Friday, September the 4th. So the first thing you need to do, of course, is go to classwork. And then you'll find the live Zoom that you missed, dated 9/08. There's two things that you need to look at. Only one of these are you going to complete this class, and we'll complete the next one together. So the first thing that you need to look at is the lab conclusion Google slide, except it will have your name on here. So when you open this up, you'll notice that there's a warm-up. I want you to reflect on that penny drop lab that we did, and then ask yourself, was my hypothesis correct? So that would be your warm-up. After you do that, I have two conclusions that you're supposed to compare to each other. This is called a high and low comparison. This is not about the penny drop lab. This comparison is about a made-up paper towel lab. But you're going to use these as examples. So it has four main things that all good conclusions should have. The first thing is, number one, summarize your findings. So that means summarize your data. Does it mention the numbers? Does it mention the data they collected? The second thing, you want to reflect on surprising results. The third thing, you want to share lessons. And the last thing, you want to design a follow-up experiment. So knowing that, your job is to explain why is conclusion 1 better than conclusion 2. So you're going to read over both of these conclusions, and I'm already telling you that conclusion 1 is better. You need to tell me why. So out of these four things, how many of them does conclusion 1 have? How many of them does conclusion 2 have? So explain what conclusion 2 is missing that conclusion 1 has. Why is conclusion 1 better? So to write that, you're going to go up to the new slide, and then there's a little arrow. You hit the arrow, and you can make a new slide, and then you can type your answer here. It only needs to be 1 to 2 sentences. And I'll give you the beginning. Conclusion 1 is better than conclusion 2 because ... and then you would tell me why. So you could look back here. Does conclusion 1 have data? And then you see it does have a summary of the data. It tells you 41 milliliters of water. But conclusion 2 doesn't mention anything about the data. So go ahead and read over both of these and find out why conclusion 1 is better. It has more of these things. So explain which of these does conclusion 1 have that conclusion 2 does not. Once you're done, your job is to rate these conclusions. So you can read over the instructions. It says, after reading the two conclusions, put an X if the conclusion has that trait, and a question mark if you're not sure. You would leave it completely blank if it doesn't have that. Now, conclusion 1, summarize your findings. So does conclusion 1 summarize the data? You can look back. Does it mention their data? If it does, then you put an X. If they don't mention their data, no numbers mentioned, then you can leave it blank. But maybe you're just not sure, then you could do a question mark. And you'd move on. Does conclusion 1 reflect on the surprising results? Does it mention something interesting or surprising? X if it does, blank if it doesn't, question mark if you're not sure. And you're going to go through conclusion 1 and then go through conclusion 2. But you're going to leave my conclusion blank because you haven't created your conclusion yet. We'll create the conclusion together. So really the only two things that you have to do today, read the two conclusions, compare them to each other, explain to me why conclusion 1 is better. They need to include these four characteristics here. Then explain to me in 2 sentences right here, why is it better? And then mark off the traits that you see. X, it has it, blank, it does not have it, question mark, you're not sure. Once you're done, do not turn this in. That's really important that you do not turn this in because there is another part of this assignment, that's the lab conclusion Google Doc. You're not expected to do anything with this yet. We'll use it next class. But I just want you to know not to turn this in because we still have to complete the conclusion next class, which will be used on this Google Doc. If you have any questions, you can email me or comment.